Hi everyone, this is CinemaBigWaves and we are back with House of Dragon Episode 8 Breakdown. At the beginning of this episode, we realized that we have moved forward in time again in this part, and the child actors have changed and became teenagers. Again, the audience's relationship with the characters is interrupted. It's strange that the producers do not care about the audience's identification with the actors. Another point is that we understand that one of Daemon's children is staying with their grandmother and the other one is with Rhaenyra and Daemon. In the first scene, another thing that is noticeable is that Daemon Velaryon puts a lot of emphasis on the Velaryon blood, and we can understand this issue from the previous episode when he was in Laena's funeral, and there he was looking meaningfully at the Targaryens. That Daemon answered with a smile. Next, Daemon brings 3 new dragon eggs from Syrax, Rhaenyra's dragon, with him, which refers to Rhaenyra being pregnant, and we will find out that she has 2 children from Rhaenyra and the third one is on the way. In Dragonstone, we see that Jace is learning the Velaryon language, and considering how slow he learns, we realize that he is a less talented person compared to his mother.
Dranyot.
Dranyot Velinio Viartis.
Dranyot.
Rhaenyra, who was the same age as his son in the first episode, was very smart in learning Velaryon language, and she was completely fluent in speaking Velaryon. When we go with Rhaenyra and Daemon to King's Landing, from the icons placed in the palace, we find out that the Fate of the Seven has gained power in King's Palace, and probably in King's Landing. Fate of the Seven is the official religion of Westeros, and if you remember, we saw this religion gaining strength in Game of Thrones series. This is the same religion its leader was High Sparrow. We have seen the signs of Alicent's religious tendency in previous episodes, and in this episode it seems that her belief has increased, and it seems that this is because of the guilt that she already had, and now she wants to protect herself behind religion.
I would say it's nice to be home, but I scarcely recognize it.
Later on, in the meeting they hold in the palace room, we understand from the words they say that they support the Fate of the Seven and equip them, so that when Alicent and the Greens need their help, they will come to their aid. And this reminds us of Cersei in Game of Thrones, that she supported the High Sparrow. In the next sequence, when we see the king, there is a strange thing. He becomes more and more like Smeagol in The Lord of the Ring. If the energy that the makeup artist put into his makeup was distributed among the rest of the actors, their makeup would also be believable. For example, we wouldn't see Daemon and several other people as young after 16 years, or that there was no need to change some actors. In the meeting that Queen Alicent is having with the courtiers, the Grand Maester of the court was changed, and the one who replaced him is probably the one who is loyal to the queen and acts in the way she wants in the treatment of the king. As we have seen in the previous episodes, Aegon is a carefree person and has not changed until now. He is only married to his sister and has a child with her. In the next sequence, we see that Aemond has acquired high fighting skills and is considered a great threat to the Blacks. Jace and Luke also feel in danger because of the grudge he has against them. Considering that she knows that the decision maker is the queen and that there is no chance for Rhaenyra's son to prevent her brother-in-law from gaining power, Rhaenys Velaryon has preferred to present herself as a successor.
My grandmother seems quite comfortable here.
She presides only in the absence of her husband. On his death, the seat passes.
The decision that does not change with proposal of Rhaenyra's children and her grandchildren marrying, but when the king comes to solve the problem, and no matter how long it takes, knowing she has a better chance, she changes her decision and supports Rhaenyra. In the following, we find out that the king has lost a part of his memory and sometimes confuses Alicent and Rhaenyra.
I shouldn't.
No, it's Rhaenyra, father.
This issue is more evident in the last scene when Alicent comes to his bedside. He mistakes her for Rhaenyra and reveals the secret of Song of Ice and Fire to Alicent vaguely. Alicent also gets confused and thinks that the king is talking about their own son Aegon, and then he talks about the promised prince who will unite all kingdoms later, which is Jon Snow. Alicent confuses these two issues and thinks that king means Aegon and considers his own son to be his rightful successor, and this later becomes her justification to conspire against Rhaenyra. A small point that is interesting in King's room is the presence of a mouse on the replica of Valeria. We have seen this mouse several times in different parts. The mouse that was first in the cellar on the dragon's skull, then on top of King's bed, and then came to the room in front of the king. This mouse is now on the replica of Valeria, and it is a symbol of the conspirators' complete control over the king. Next, where Vaemond Velaryon insults Rhaenyra and her children, we finally see an exciting scene, which of course does not last long, and that was Vaemond's death by Daemon. The grudge between them for the Triarchy Wars ends here. In the scene where the king and his family gathered together, we see the last naive effort of the king, who wants to bring these sworn enemies together, and apparently this healing will not last long. The pig they put in front of Aemond in this sequence makes Luke smile, which reminds Vaemond of being humiliated by them and makes Aemond contempt sons of Rhaenyra. At the end, when a fight breaks out between them, Daemon stands in front of Aemond and wants to tell him that I will confront you, not these kids. Well, according to the trailers of next episode, it can be said that with the death of the king, we will witness more blood and killing in the next episode. What is your guess for the next part? Write us in the comments. Until next episode, be safe.